interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm very, very excited to see what we can... Well, basically see who's going to come out on top. Obviously, it's a pretty brutal way to go through. Big have already got through the qualification, and we'll see whether or not they can sort of continue that in this sort of fashion. They've got a very difficult game. There are no easy games in this sort of ladder stage, as we've seen previously. Already lost some big hitters throughout this tournament, but we'll see whether or not Envy are going to fall to the hands of Big, or if they will be able to win their matchup. Supposedly the in-game volume is a little bit too loud. I've tried to fix it, so we'll see if that's actually sorted. You guys can let me know in the chat if that is going to be the case. I don't know why. It should be the same as all the other days, but clearly something's changed. So if you guys just let me know, and I will respond in key.
Now, one of the interesting things about this one, we had a bit of discussion, you and I, before the game started, when we were just, doing our thing. But Big playing cobblestone, that's a bit interesting. Choosing cobblestone over EnVyUs. Now, you mentioned that EnVyUs, they've never really been known to be a great cobblestone team. And with that being said, Big and most German teams are actually pretty good on this map. But we just saw, like, not too long ago, just the other day, 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah.
We saw Big lose to Spirit in a best-of-1 on this map. And it wasn't, like, a really, really close game. I was actually watching that game. Spirit absolutely demolished them 16-7, so this is an interesting pick, in my opinion.
Oh, 6 at the start. Nice little shot from him. We'll be opening things up. Obviously, on the CT side, we will see Envy to go. We've got the raid boss of Tabson. I'm definitely happy to see him back in the EU after his trip. And he actually stood in for what was alternate attacks at the time. So we have seen a few of these players together. Obviously, we've seen the same from Godby and Legia. But they are going to look to try and push into middle. Next is to start. Scream is there to defend, looking for those trusty one taps. And, well, he is going to manage to and take them a two-man advantage.
It's just typical Scream stuff right here. It's beautiful. It's something that we see on a few players, and Scream is one of those players who consistently hit those one-taps. It's just beautiful. Legia and Tapson. Now going to be rotating over towards the B bomb site. There's still one defender here. It's Happy over by the chicken coop. We know that name from our good friend Mo. Happy peeks out, gets a beautiful headshot on Legia. Now it's going to be all on taps. In 1-on-4 situation, not much he can do here. Does have with Tech 9 the raid boss build. Scream, he's going to go for the tap action with that USP. He gets the headshot as well. And yes, they pick up the pistol.
Yeah, Scream, well, making it look relatively easy to start at least versus Big. The likelihood is we are going to see the force up from them in this round. The Deeg already onto Legia. The rest of the team seem a little bit hesitant. Obviously expecting Kiev to maybe save a little bit more money, get himself that AWP. And actually, they've gone pretty light on this buy. I don't mind it, though. A lot of teams do go very, very heavy. The one interesting thing I really want to see, though, look how many SMGs currently on the board for Envy.
It's actually a point that that I'm very religious about. I don't like 4 SMGs. I don't like 5 SMGs. I think it's too much. But seeing as Big, they decide to not go for the full head armor build, it's actually something that we see a lot of teams do nowadays. Just go for a bit lower than a full buy in the second round, so they can get more utility for the upcoming gun round. And I like that. But this definitely chimes in the favor of EnVyUs with all of those SMGs. But they've already lost a player in RPK.
Yeah, I do have to say, I think they've got a little bit lucky in this sort of scenario where it's just like, yes, let's invest into 5 SMGs. Oh, what a coincidence. Only one player on the other team bought armor and we've killed him first. I think that is not something you'll get away with too often, especially in situations where we know how powerful these Tech 9s is. Look at the position of Sixer, though. Just round the back. I think they were all about to walk past. There's no way they're going to check this angle. He's just going to be sat in behind, but they actually go all the way past. Look at this, though. Line up. 3 kills. 6 are easy peasy. Round done and dusted. Nothing they could do in that situation. And Kiev with 2 HP. Okay, good luck, buddy.
Wow. That's such a strong position. We don't see that position very often. I don't think I've actually ever seen that position in in an official game before. That's beautiful stuff by Sixer. And the trigger discipline is worth pointing out. He saw two of the players, and he was still waiting. He was waiting not only for them to line up, but he had this feeling that, oh, there's got to be one more. And he was right. Another player walks in front of his crosshair, he just lined them up. It's easy for him, you know? Just hit that mouse one and go to work. Another day at the office.
Another relatively similar buy coming in for the side of Big. Not really investing too much. I'm really looking forward to their first buy round. They're going to have an awful lot of utility in play. Still going to be SMGs on the side of Envy. Now, I'm excited to see how much of this they're going to bring into a bonus round in the next. Because, obviously, they have so many SMGs. The likelihood is they're not going to lose many players in this round. You'd hope at least. If they did, you'd be a little bit worried about how they're playing this round, considering there's no armor and very little anything else. But going for a bonus round, obviously there's a huge benefit. If you win or even just do a lot of damage, you do get yourselves a nice bonus to your cash. But if you lose, I suppose you could then go for the reset. I don't know. I'm waiting to see whether they'll actually force up.
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of those bonus rounds. And that's the main reason why I don't like more than 3 SMGs. Because if those 3 players survive, and one of your rifles die, then you're gonna have so many SMGs for the upcoming gun round as well. But again, it should be an easy round here for EnVyUs. That Sixer on the flank. He's actually gonna go down to Legia, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-2. So EnVyUs already lost 3 players. Got B, he's gonna make his way over towards middle. Make a bit of a decoy towards the A-bomb site. XMS still sitting towards B. Legia gonna make his way in towards the plateau. XMS shuts him down. Got B now with the MP in line. He's gonna make his way out as well. He's gonna go straight for the plant. This is brilliant stuff by Got B, or at least a good idea. He knew that the time was very low. He had to go straight for the plant. Tried his very best, but unfortunately didn't get anything out of it. But still a good round here for Big.
Yeah, not a bad round at all, actually. They really didn't invest very much in. They had themselves, what, a few $100 on every single player and then get themselves 3 kills. Now, what this does mean is we don't get to see the magical bonus round that we were hoping for. I was, at least, how they were going to do with that, well, UMP. But, yeah, not a bad sort of situation. And now they're actually going to buy up the majority of the rifles and an AWP onto Sixer. Now, this was something I actually wanted to talk about just in general. Obviously, you've lost Kenny. You brought this in and you've gone, hey, what are you going to do instead? Okay, next. Okay, just interrupt me. Just shut them down. 2 aggressive picks over towards the B site. Early stuff already. And this leaves, well, RPK all alone. He's going to have to be the tank, and it's not going to happen. Legia will open up another kill onto the site, leaving just 2 to try and defend.
Normally, I would say the silver lining is for EnVyUs that Scream was still alive, but he was on a UMP, and obviously, it's not his preferred weapon. Sixer, now left alone with that AWP, gonna try and see if he can find something. He does get the no-scope on, taps him. He is hunted while the rest of Big, just making sure that he doesn't get too sassy. He doesn't try to make his way in for the fuse or crazy clutch or something like that. But obviously, Sixer, he's going to fall back, see if he can hold on to the AWP for the upcoming round. Beautiful entries here by Nex. That's something a bit interesting, because I've said for a long time, ever since first time I actually saw Big, that this was going to be great for Nex. He really gets to shine in a lineup like this, and he's an absolute beast of a player.
Yeah, no, he actually, well, I feel like maybe just a little bit underutilized in his previous team, so I do think it's a good addition. Obviously not playing such a supportive role as you have players like Godby and Legia who are going to fall back a little bit, Orpa of Kiev. It's looking like a much more structured team, whereas sort of the Mouse Sports iteration was always just, okay, you got Nico, but do you have an Orpa? Is it Chris J? Or will Nico pick it up? Or will Oscar pick it up? And then it was just the most confusing iteration of probably any team we've ever seen. So to have this much more structured, obviously, God B, that's basically what he does. I do think it could be something for next to shine. It's just whether or not it can hit the heights. That's the big thing. Obviously, well, big, ironically, but it's whether or not this team can actually get past that sort of tier, I would say probably tier 3 barrier that they're going to be stuck towards for now, at least.
Yeah, it's one of those teams, like, obviously we haven't seen them play that much. We still need to sort of figure out how are they playing, what can we expect of them. But it's one of those teams that I do think they got a lot of potential. Now, with that being said, Happy managed to find the first kill on Tapson. Maximus in a good position up close towards the smoke, just watching for that push. Legia, he goes down. Maximus falls back into safety. Good start for the round here for EnVyUs. Have a good potential of sort of resetting big. Taking a lot of damage. Next will be able to take him down. RPK, he finds got B. And Happy just tapping away. Just using that burst action. Taking care of Kiev, and it's now going to be all on next. 1-on-4 situation. I just mentioned he's a brilliant player, but I think that's a bit much to ask.
Yeah, no, for Nick to try and bring that one back, I would have been a little bit worried. Obviously, this is actually going to be the hard reset now coming in for this T side. We've already got only one round on the board. They are going to invest a little bit, but I think they can buy into the next anyway with the 1900. Godby will be struggling a tad, but they may be able to get an AWP. Now, that would be definitely an upgrade for Kiev. We haven't seen him on it yet. Currently 0-on-5, which definitely isn't the start that we were looking for from the man himself. Big fan of his style of play. Very aggressive AWPing. Not yet to see too much of him at LAN events, though. I think that's the big question that's always been put over his head, whether or not he's actually an online player and if he can actually pull out the stocks. I think he did do all right over on the Meisterschaft at ESL, but on the sort of big stage, I think we didn't see too much of him when they qualified for E-League. Obviously, in this round, once again, it's going to be those pistol players trying to make that aggressive push over towards the A side. There's a couple of players waiting in the form of Scream and Sixer with the AWP. And this could be perfect for Scream to just maybe get a couple more montage highlights.
This is one of those rounds where people like Scream should get a lot of kills on eco rounds like this. With that being said, we all know, and I think most people agree, that the pistols are a bit too OP at this point. You know, the armor penetration is a bit too much, and you have one-shot potential on pretty much every single pistol, at least if you spend money on upgrading. God B is the only one who didn't spend any money on upgrading his pistol. The Deagle, definitely a deadly weapon as well. Sixer almost lining them up for the double. Managed to find one onto next. Happy, he's going to go to taps, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. These pistols are absolutely deadly. Beautiful peek coming in from Sixer.
It's a bait. It's a bait. I love it. Godby's going to get the bomb down. That was so smart. They just switched it up. Absolutely played. And that is just ridiculous. Just completely baiting them into position. And, well, you actually see the point that Happy manages to go down. Sixer almost does as well, but the bomb plant is all they needed. That's going to be the bonus.
Even I got baited there. I was watching the minimap, and I saw the bomb close towards A, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy pickings for EnVyUs. And then he decided to fall back towards B. Beautiful stuff. And getting that bomb down definitely gives them a bit more utility to work with. And make sure that everyone got that head armor, utility, AK-47, and they do have the AWP on key.
Important stuff for sure to get that AWP in. It's going to be on Sixer as well still. Obviously not dying in the previous round. Is just going to be waiting for any sort of aggression from the CTs from, well, Kiev just waiting at the moment. In the meantime, 3 players over towards this B side. Now, the rotation onto B is normally something that a lot of teams will focus on, having someone in that sort of door in mid, just to make sure that they can rotate very, very quickly. At the moment, they're playing very aggressive towards long. Now, this could play wonderfully into the hands of the Germans if nothing changes anytime soon. Now, luckily they are holding relatively aggressive positions. XMS is up close, and the smoke is going to hold them back for a bit. And you can already see they now will switch into that more standard formation of just Scream being a little bit further back enabling them to rotate if necessary. But actually, the push is looking like it is going to come and hit onto this A site, with possibly tabseN just waiting in connector.
That's something interesting and something we see a lot of teams do, actually. They decide to go a bit aggressive over towards Matrix, or A-long, as some people like to call it.
Okay, tabseN. Okay.
So I'm trying to explain what just happened. tabseN completely makes my statement invalid. Destroys 2 players in drop zone, making it look incredibly easy. There's still the 2 defenders on the A-bomb side. Sixer, Scream, beautiful shot on towards tabseN. Sixer, he goes down to Keith with that AWP. Scream up by the broken wall. He goes down to Keith as well, and it's now going to be XMS on that flank over by Matrix. Gonna make his way up. Why is this? Ooh, got B. Got B, he walks.
Oh, Keith.
Walks backwards in towards XMS.
Yeah, Keith's going to be quick enough on the trigger that he can just about close down this round. Now, in terms of the money left over on the CT side, that's where things get a bit interesting. Now, XMS challenging in that scenario does make the buy a little bit worse off, I suppose. I imagine Sixer will have a gun, or has that just been mixed up? Yeah, it has. RPK is going to be the one to actually drop down to just a P250, so that one rifle does change their buy quite a bit, and he wasn't able to do too much damage either, although that 1 kill does mean that the T's are still in a position where they could be back on eco in the next round as well. So still going to be an impactful 1-5-2 in terms of EnVyUs at the moment, so they're still in that lead position. And XMS is looking for this aggressive peak. Obviously, they've got to go for something of the sort. They are basically starting this with a disadvantage, even though it's this early in the round.
I like this position here from Scream, boosted up. Over on the A-bomb side. That means that he can't really get spotted from Matrix. But he has a good possibility of peeking either middle or Matrix. For now, it seems like BIG, they just have 1 player. It's Keith with that AWP watching for some aggression from the A-bomb side. Nothing coming his way just yet. The rest of BIG, they are lining up for a B split. At least for now. Seems like they want to fall back towards A again, just like they did in the previous round.
Yeah, rotation will be making its way over towards this A side. They got 30 seconds, so this has to be a relatively quick execute. And Scream up on the boost may just be able to catch them out. There's the first, second, and third for Scream, lining them up, knocking them back down. And that's it. That's round done. There's 15 seconds left for them to try and get out on the site. And there's 3 players sat on the bomb. We can already see Keith is out. He's like, nope, I'm keeping my AWP. I know that I can buy in the next round, or my team can, at least, as long as I keep my weapon in play. So there is absolutely no worth for me challenging. And tabseN, well, he's in a horrible position, but he may just be able to survive, because I'm pretty sure Envy, just because of their economic restraints, are very happy to continue with all of the players surviving. Wonderful stuff from Scream. Have to question BIG, though. That was left very, very late, and things like that can happen. You saw the smoke go down so late in the round, because Envy were just confident. They're going to go, okay, I'm going to keep this smoke, I'm going to throw it down, and then you have to waste your own time or just rush.
Well, honestly, that was all Scream. Did you see his reaction on that flash? He barely spotted that flash through the smoke. He still managed to react to it. And when he saw a player push, he actually thought it was a second flash. But he still managed to get 3 kills. That's beautiful. Had that flash caught him, it probably would have been around for BIG. Because it's a really good push through that smoke with a pop flash. Scream, he's just too good.
Again, they are looking to hit towards this A site. 2 players up close. Again, it's going to be Scream. Actually going to flash in for Sixer. Try and take this aggressive peek. Or maybe he's going to flash for himself. Never mind. Just goes for the peek early on. Spots out 2. They know this aggression is here. A little bit of attack comes onto Scream, but they're going to be able to fall back, and actually rotated Happy into the site. He's going to be sat there waiting. This mainly because nothing has been spotted over towards this B site aggression. Leggy up. Looking over this edge of the smoke, but hasn't found anything once yet as the clock begins to tick low again. And there's still quite a bit of utility. XMS, if he rotates it, even has a smoke, I imagine he'll just keep that on B just in case they rotate. But the problem is now, again, they're going to be executing with just 30 seconds left. Any utility now used by Envy is going to be so valuable. But there's Tabson getting that first kill, opening up the round. But there's still 2 players to find, and Scream, oh, they're both blind, they both can't see each other. Next wins the duel. RPK trades 2 back, and there's Happy. That resident sleeper on the site just going to be able to slow things down, but they will get the bomb down.
XMS now in a kind of an awful situation, 1-on-2 clutch position, but Keeve, he shuts him down quite easily. Did you see that from RPK? They lined up for him. He was shooting at next, and he randomly got a headshot over by middle. I think you'll take that any day of the week. The round still goes in the favor of Big, making it 6-3 on the scoreboard. Interesting decision here. Now, it's something that I usually get upset when teams go aggressive and very, goes very aggressive early in the rounds. And I like to see Big using a lot of their time. Using, you have, 1:55 on the clock? So you have a lot of time to work with. Why not use that time? That's exactly what Big is doing at this point. That being said, they have been a bit too close in some of the rounds. So he'll get the trade here. With that USP, trying to go for a bit more with the Deagle. Next takes him down. Happy, he goes down to Next as well. Easy round for Big. That being said, they've already lost Tabson, and Gotby, he's fairly low on HP as well. XMS on the flank, finds Legia, deals a bit of damage. Legia doing the right thing, just falling back, making sure he gets a better position. XMS, he's changing up his position, and that's good, and he's actually very fast at doing so. Big might still think that he's close towards middle. Could potentially get a kill. Up from the balcony area. Either way, it is going to be another round for Big. EnVyUs on that. Low bind, the pistol bind, upgraded pistols, bit of Kevlar. Big making 4 rounds on the T side. Now, normally I would say that this map is pretty much 50-50. But in a game like this, where it's EnVyUs versus Big, it's EnVyUs sided. Like, it doesn't matter if EnVyUs is on CT or T sided. They should be winning their half.
Scream sided. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I don't know. I'm a little bit sketchy at the moment because I always question which Keeve's going to turn up. That's always my factor because I'm a big fan of the way this guy plays. He's very aggressive. He will win rounds on his own just by doing ridiculous things. On the T side, that's quite difficult with an AWP. On CT, that's where things really can switch up and he can become an absolute monster. There's plenty of clips of him with Mag 7s, AWPs, you name it, UMPs, whatever. This guy can use it. So definitely excited to see him over on that CT side. For now, 6-4, not a bad situation for either side. We do have a buy back up for the French. And it's not a bad one. They don't have the AWP back onto 6 as of yet. And he has been doing reasonably well with it so far. 10-5, top of the board with Scream, of course. And they're going back to this sort of very spread out strategy that we've seen from them previously. Quite heavy over towards that long A spot where there's only going to be Keeve. Now, really, this is where sometimes a little bit of aggression can actually help you because they have very little information at this moment in time. They don't know anything. This is one of the big problems with Cobble as a map in general, that finding information is very difficult. You have to put yourselves in the crossfire of the other team.
Especially for the CT side, I feel like all the information you get is that, wait, there's one guy spraying the smoke over towards B long. But that doesn't really tell you anything. Like, it doesn't tell you how Big are situated, how they're set up. Now it definitely does, as we see the nades flying in towards the B bomb site. And Big, they are going to make their way in towards B. Like, yeah, he finds the first kill on XMS through the smoke. Scream tries to get a bit clever, but Next shuts him down, taps and finds RPK. Happy will get the trade for Keeve with that AWP now, watching for the flank, and Sixer, he's all alone. 1-on-4. Big looking to take another round on the board. Sixer seems like he's just going to fall back, see if he can hold on to the M4 for the upcoming round. And Big making it look easy, just lining up for the smokes towards the B bomb site. pushing in together, working as a unit, and that's very important. Can't believe how many times I've said that in a game of CS. If you don't have team play, if you're not good at utilizing the players and playing together as a unit, you're gonna have a hard time. Big making it look like that's all they've been doing for their entire life. 5th round on the ball. And once again, EnVyUs, their economy is not that great. I think that's a bit of an understatement, actually. They don't really have any money to work with.
Yeah, after the 3 losses in a row, it is looking a little bit sketchy, to say the least. They work 2,900 into the bank accounts next round, so it won't be too much of a problem for them to get a buy there. And obviously Sixer, he's kept this from the previous round, so may as well just try it and do a little bit of damage with it. I quite like that at the moment. It looks like they're going to play him as that sort of solo A, although a gamble here isn't really too much of a problem. Obviously, you're not expecting to do too much in this round, so if you go for something a little bit risky, it's not too much of a problem. Now, I do want to point out, in the previous round, XMS, he had such a good position. He was so unlucky that he just didn't quite manage to actually do what he should have done, like connect the shots. It could have changed the round. Obviously, props have to go to Big for all the entry frags at the same time, and they are making this map relatively close at the moment. Now, obviously, both of these teams, well, probably Envy are going to be cut more, but are going to be coming under scrutiny just based on what is expected of them. Obviously, the new German lineup, I definitely want to see them do well, but whether they're on the same caliber of what is expected of an org such as EnVyUs, who are winning in pretty much all other games. We see them everywhere at the moment. Now, they are lining up. They're rotating themselves quite heavily on the French side, and it does mean that they're going to be set up possibly on the wrong site when this looks to hit towards B in the last 30 seconds of the round.
You touched on a point that I like that. You know, Big, they're in every single qualifier, every single tournament that they can compete in. And that's... You need to do that as a new team. Already a good amount of damage done to Warp.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Nex is there to stop it. Not going to happen. And actually keeping 4 players alive is important for Big. They need to build up that money, and they are beginning to do so. 10k on Kiev, Europa, that's always going to be good.
Pause? What? A tactical pause coming in from Big. How many pauses do you have here in Starladder? 3, right?
I think it seems to vary. I'm pretty sure it's 1 per half, and I think it's only meant to be... I think it changed, because I think now we may be using the ESL sort of tactic where you only get like 30 seconds, but it does seem that sometimes the teams just take a little bit longer. I think online it's always going to be a bit more sketchy as to what sort of pause rules are in play. But I think they're only supposed to get 30 seconds, and then they should get prompted. Yeah, so a very, very short pause in the end. So, oh. I don't think tabs are made. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Console has it for us. Thank you. It's the 30-second pause rules, the same as the sort of ESL and Major, where that's the rules that we're going by. So you don't get long. Okay, now they got a tech pause. They say. I think there may be a. Is it TeamSpeak problems? If I hear it's TeamSpeak problems, I'm gonna cry, because I personally have never had a problem with TeamSpeak. I don't know about you, but it's never happened.
I have, but the biggest problem I have with TeamSpeak is that my IP is showing. And as a caster, as a streamer, you don't want that. Which is why I moved away from that platform.
Yeah, I want to point out, other broadcast or speaking software is available, because I am sponsored by none of them, so I will not sell out.
I usually sell out even though I'm not sponsored by anyone either.
Oh no. How does that happen? Look, they're trying to give an advantage, you see. They've just knifed Scream. He's too powerful otherwise, so XMS has just taken him down to 39 HP at the beginning of the round. Not the way things wanted to start. Much faster pace round coming out from Big, in fact. They're going to make their way out towards Plat. XMS, you're going to have a lot to do. And there comes the flash again. He's going to be in the same position as we saw last time. Sneaking round the back. Gets the first this time. Looking for the second. This time XMS is on point. can't quite get himself the third, but it's allowing so much time for the rotation. And that will mean that when they get there, on the site will be Envy. RPK already up close. They've got the AWP rattling shots away. And RPK is going to add one more to the death toll, leaving just Tabson versus 3 to try and challenge. Gets the first and the second.
Oh.
Okay, Tabson. Now it's down to a 1v1 versus Sixer.
Flashbang on point as well. Sixer does have that AWP. Tabson picking up the bomb. Gonna make his way back. At least for now. And Sixer's actually pushed up. So Tabson could potentially go in towards drop zone. But Sixer, he knows what's up. He knows what's coming. Realizes that Tabson is probably going to rotate. And Sixer just staying over by B. That was a great hold there by XMS. Not only that, I got a bit confused. And I will say that I facepalmed. Just a bit. Why would you ever throw the smoke onto the site? Through a smoke. Oh, throw the bomb, sorry.
Yeah. Sixer. Oh, is he going to check the angle? That's the question. It looks like Tabson is in a good position to try and hold him down. And he will close out the round. Even in a 1 versus 3, Tabson will close. And that is a big problem for Envy. The site hold was good. They did the job. XMS, although he didn't hit every single shot available to him, I always say, like, one of the biggest things in Counter-Strike is being able to stay alive. He takes 2 players and he stays alive for long enough that there's 3 more players on the site. The problem is those 3 players all died to Tabson. So it doesn't work out in the end, but that just means that they're going to be now falling a little bit flat, looking closer to that 9-6. They will have a bye in the next round. Max loss bonus after 5 rounds in a row. But that's just team play there. They needed to work together and not allow Tabson the chance to show his colors.
Well, that's a big thing. We always say you should try and go for the double peak, right? But this time on the B plateau, if you go for a double peak, if you peak 2 players, they're gonna line up, and that's exactly what happened. Tabson just sat there, ready. Beautiful 1-3 flush, as you mentioned. XMS still playing in that sort of the same position.
Oh, scream. Oh, can he get any more? He's got himself the first. He's still just dodging on the side. They're going to try and get close and personal. Everybody else is down. It's down to just Scream with the D. And he's not going to get anything done either. Tabson's had enough. Godby with the triple on the eco round. And now Big getting ever closer to that 9-6 scoreline. Now this, on a map like Cobble, is relatively standard, especially with teams that, I have to say, I think both these teams, at least, have had some sketchier CT sides. Like, even the rounds that we've seen come out from Envy, especially in the early sort of doors, well, it was late round pushes coming out from Big and Scream shutting it down, and just like individualistic plays, like XMS playing well over towards Plat. So far, we haven't seen too much team play. However, individually, we know that they've got a lot of talent, so maybe they can still pull this back over on the T side. Obviously, 8-7, 9-6, definitely different scorelines. Well done, Tom. You can tell that numbers are different, but means that obviously it's rather than 3 rounds apart. And obviously, if you get the 3 rounds and then you win the pistol, that's a whole 6 rounds difference for Big. So definitely looking to see if Envy can pick up this last one. They've gone for a double AWP as well, and Happy, he's back on his secondary AWP role, which is something we haven't seen for quite a while.
It's definitely something interesting, and one of the things I like about Happy is that not only is he a good leader, he's actually a pretty good player. Now, as of recent, I think he's taken the lurk role too seriously. He's been a bit of a baiter, to say the least, and I'm not happy about that. I mean, he used to be such a great player. He used to be, as I said, he was my favorite player for such a long time, but he's definitely fallen off and takes the lurk role a bit too serious at this point.
Sixer not able to connect. The lurk player will, however, go down. This means that the push is going to be coming in onto the site next. Looking for these entry kills. Just going to be trying to hold off any rotations, but they haven't yet got onto the site. Scream is going to be waiting. He gets the first. Can't quite get the second while blind. And now the rest of the team are going to come barreling onto the site. Keep looking for a shot with the AWP, but they're running out of time. 8 seconds left. Shut down from Envy. And that will be an 8-7 half. Very, very close in the first. And now we wait to see who's going to take that pistol and get that boost going into the second.
Pretty good half of both teams here, actually. I want to point out that I actually think this is a really good half for Big. But with that being said, we know that Big, they are better on the T side. And obviously that comes from them, you know, they haven't been together for that long. They still need some work on their CT side. They need a bit of work on their rotations and stuff like that. But they're definitely a strong team on the T side. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if EnVyUs can, you know, can start off strong here on their T side. If they get the pistol, they're definitely in a good position. For the pistol, we do see Scream on utility buy. That's not something we see that often. The rest of EnVyUs with Kevlar. Kevlar on 4 players for Big as well. A death kit on Leggy, a bit of utility in Keith. He goes for the tap work out from Matrix, catches RPK. Yes, they're spread out wide and far for this pistol. Does seem like they want to fall back and play together over towards the B site.
Yeah, Happy looking to take control over drop. We'll be spotting Tabson, but they now have the information of where he's currently going to be. Hasn't managed to do too much damage either. The rest of the team will be trying to take over plat control. Next in the corner, and Tabson peeking out. This could be the perfect bait play. Nice peek from Next. Gets the first. Screen blind. He's going to be... Actually, he's still alive. I don't know how he's still alive. Actually gets one. Okay. Took their time, but it will be Big with almost a flawless pistol. Only Tabson going down, which will be perfect start over on their CT side. Now, Envy... They are the king of the force buy. I will be very surprised if we do not see a force. And there we go. Deegs, we've already got 3. Sixer, obviously becoming dedicated AWPer for this team. May just opt to save, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Just to... Okay, he's been given... Has he been given a Deagle? No, he has bought one. So, still saving a little bit of money. 850 in the bank. So, he may need a bomb plant or something if they're actually going to get that into the next couple of rounds. But it's still going to be mainly Deagles for this team, and I'm a big fan. Love these long-range ones, and if they can pull some off, they can do quite a bit of damage. And I've seen this buy come in from a few different teams now, the 4UMP FAMAS buy, just that extra bit of range, although personally I'm not a big fan of the FAMAS.
You say you're not a big fan of a FAMAS. I have the same feeling about the Deagle. But that's mostly when I'm playing. When I'm playing, the Deagle is the worst weapon in the game for me, but the best weapon in the game for everyone else. Might tell a bit more about me and my skill than the other players.
Oh, okay, there we go. XMS eventually getting the pick, and they're actually doing a lot of damage in this sort of scenario. The rifle still in play at the moment. Keeve playing up close. He's going to be jumping. You can shoot through the wood, Keeve. You don't need to jump. It's not going to matter. Happy now isolated. We've seen him do crazy things in the past, but this would have to be a different one altogether. Clean up round in the end. Pistols will be picked up, a couple of them at least. And over on the other side of things, Envy shouldn't be able to invest anything really into this round. Maybe a P250, a flashbang or something of the sort. But they're going to want to buy into the next round, and with a 4-round deficit, they need every piece of utility they can get.
10-7 on the board for Big. They are in a good position. Do still have 2 SMGs. The Max 7 on Got B. Next, upgrading to the M4. As you mentioned, pretty much a full eco here for EnVyUs. Only a few upgraded pistols. Actually, upgraded pistols on pretty much every single player, but it's P250s. So not that much money spent. Why did Peak just look, or why did Keith just look to his right when peeking? I'm confused. Either way, Big, pretty defensive setup here. I have 4 players over towards B, and actually now all 5 players over towards B. Should be an easy round, and indeed it will be. Happy, he goes down as the last to Keith. Double kill for Next, single kill for everyone else except for Legia. But no one going down here from Big, and that means that they're still going to be on 2 SMGs and a Max 7. Now, God B is more than likely going to be playing in drop zone. That's where we see the shotguns being to most use. Hold this round, EnVyUs, they do have good amount of utility. 4 smokes, 3 Molotovs, decent amount of flashbangs as well.
I think that was actually 6 saving, so he doesn't go for the AWP instead. He makes sure he gets full utility. Still playing somewhat of a supportive role for this team at this moment in time. And definitely looking to see how XMS will build into this roster, and will he become something a little bit more than what we've seen from him in previous teams. Obviously, a little bit of a bonus round in for the CT side. We're not going to see an AWP onto Kiev as of yet. They're just going to keep these SMGs. They're going to keep themselves the mag and try and make some money. And, well, if they can win this round, they're going to make a lot. Now, that one Molotov, I wonder if it's actually going to go into the corner, because there is currently a man waiting there. It's going to be Tabson. Now, he's got some utility of his own to save his life, but it's whether he can actually get back out of there once the push comes in. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, I do expect Envy to make their move relatively soon. And next, actually going to throw a deep smoke. Now, this could catch them out a little bit. XMS is already going to be past it. Now, will Tabson go for the peek? He will. And actually, that's going to be the entry. RPK, he gets another in the meantime. Already a lot of damage done. Next, going to have to try and survive on the site. Legia is still around playing close. But he has very little to play with. The only real damaging thing is the bomb is currently down. Unfortunately, there's not too much they can do about that now, as everybody is dead other than Kiev.
XMS once again with the entries towards the B bomb site. Oh, I have been paying attention to the chat, and I see, as usual, Twitch chat is brutal. Saying bot when you miss and God when you hit. And I think right now it's God XMS indeed. And indeed he is triple entry towards the B bomb site. Not an easy task, but he's making it look incredibly easy. And as you've mentioned, Kiev, left alone, nothing he can do in a 1-on-4 situation. Just going to hold on to the UMP, but more important, his head armor. We'll find the kill on screen, gives him a bit more money to work with. But he's already swimming in it. Got 9k.
He got an AK as well. Money. That's going to be nice for his team. That's a extra little bit of money that they've saved. Obviously, the AK is still the primary rifle for any pro player. And Mag 7 for God B. Now, there are a few positions on this map I definitely do like to see a little bit of Mag 7 action. I'm a big shotgun connoisseur myself. Let's see where he actually ups to play. It is going to be drop. I personally prefer it over towards Broken Wall, just because it's a little bit more of a close range angle and they have to run into it more, whereas there's a bit more range. Just a little bit, but it's enough that it means that if you do hit, sometimes you cannot get the kill with this very weapon. Now, they're going to go for the same sort of split we saw on the previous side. Yeah, going very aggressive. He's going to get caught out. XMS avoids the flashbang. Now it's all onto Kiev. And he's not going to connect anything for now. He's only got 21 HP and looks to fall back. God B will manage to get one with the Mag 7. So it's still doing work even in long range angles. And this means it does go back. Kiev actually still doing work. I don't know how he's still alive in this scenario. Gets himself a second kill. Leaving Scream to try and push back in. I have no idea how he hasn't been shut down at this point. 21 HP and he's still just lurking around this bomb. Next, going to add another to the death of these T's. Well, now Happy is left alone. 46 HP to try and find 3 players. And there's the flank from Tabson, closing down the round. And that will be a 12th on the board for Big.
I like to see that EnVyUs, at least, they're trying to switch it up. Trying to go for a bit of a faster play towards A this time, but they get completely demolished. Big with the fast rotation, making it look incredibly easy, and beautiful control from all of the players. Next in a good position again. Kiev. I mean, that's something you mentioned a bit earlier. Kiev is actually a really, really good AWPer. And very aggressive in his playstyle. And a brilliant player. As you mentioned, Big, they're in a pretty good position at this point. 12-8, and EnVyUs, they're going to be on a low buy for this round. Upgraded pistols. Head armor on Happy, Kevlar on XMS. Single flashbang, but not much to work with.
Oh, Legia with the fadeaway. Manages to get himself 2 kills. XMS going to be charging onto Kiev with the AWP. If he can get this out of his hands, that's something to play with. Kiev actually going to turn back around. Now, XMS has to be a little bit more careful. Looking to go through the smoke. Got defense Legia as well is already on 3 kills in this round. Happy spamming away with that tech. Actually going to pick up 2, looking for his 3rd as well, doing a hell of a lot of damage. Gives Scream a chance. He's picked up 1. Now, they know the position tabseN plays, or at least I hope they do. He's going to be just sat in the flank lines, and oh, Scream, that's the 2nd time you've gone down to a man from behind. That is so unfortunate, but that was way too close. That was just some pistols.
I just had a flashback right there. I had a flashback of Inferno where Happy went nuts with the Deagle. This time it's with the Tech 9, but a triple kill on the A bomb site, and allowing Scream to get into a one-on-one situation from not really investing anything into the round. That's quite impressive. Good stuff here by Happy. Unfortunately, I mean, they didn't win the round, which obviously they hope to do. You always hope to do that. Good talk. But they managed to deal some economical damage towards Big. And that is obviously what you're looking for in a round like that.
Oh, get wrecked, Keeve. Goodbye, AWP. Hello, Scream. You don't give that man a chance. He's going to take it with both hands. Already starting off with the 1st kill of the round. Still playing a lurk role. Legia could look to retrieve that AWP, but don't know whether he will. Over on the other side of the map, there is starting to be this build-up over towards the B site, and I'm looking at you, tabseN. Gonna go back into that corner. Now, he's used this spot 3 times, I think, now. And they are gonna molly it. Rightly, too. Clear him out, and now the push comes in. But actually, that flash is gonna completely blind them. tabseN just gonna be stuck in the corner. Next, still able to do some damage, but the cleanup crew is in. It looks like God B's out of there. Not going to try and retake this one with a Mag 7, and at the same time, Legia's going to fall back. Now, they could just go and retrieve that AWP. I think that's still over on this side of the map, so there should be a good opportunity for them to actually keep that in play. In terms of the money on the CT side, that is where things get a little bit more sketchy. Obviously, losing so many players in the previous round will make things difficult, but with 1900 loss bonus, God B, he can drop a rifle for one of the players. Legia can drop a FAMAS or something, so it's not too much of a problem, and tabseN may be able to even just buy, so it's going to be a buy on the board, at least for Big. They're still in a strong position overall, but they definitely got caught out, and this time, this is where you see some of the negatives of Keeve's aggression. He loses life early on, they try and sort of gamble a little bit more, and then just get entry'd over on that B side.
Well, then again, what is he supposed to do? I mean, he's up against Scream, one of the absolute best headshot machines in the game.
Of course it's 1400, they didn't...
Self-proclaimed.
I'm an idiot. I just like the chat just corrected me on my maths. Obviously, they've only lost 1 round. It's 1400. Mistakes were made.
It's all good. As I usually say, chat, they're all knowing. They catch every time we make a mistake. And that's good, because it keeps us on our toes. Yeah, as you mentioned, Big, they don't have too much money now. They're still gonna make it work with some sort of a force buy here. They did manage to save the AWP and the M4. They will be able to get a FAMAS, Max 7, and another M4 as well. How did they get that M4? Oh yeah, never mind. I got confused there. God B got
had
the Max 7
then...
drops. Yeah.
Yeah, Keeve will be able to get his ult back in play. Now, they're going to switch things up. He's actually going to head his way over towards the B site, set him up as the Catalyst man, and then switch up their defense. I like this already. Trying to basically play these games. Having that rotational AWP. Obviously, the king of that was EnVy. Kenny S, but there's one almost lining up for a second. He's actually going to go over aggressive, though. Almost caught out. He's got to be very careful. XMS up close. And now it's going to come down to Nex on the site. Had a good first half. We saw him pull out some nice rounds. He's got to do a little bit more here. He does have support. Flashbang, but they're actually hiding at the moment. Not able to connect up to anyone. Does manage to help Legia out to get that first kill. RPK is going to go down to Legia as well. And they're actually being cleaned up. It's all on to Happy. He gets 1. Doesn't manage a second. And that will be 14-9. The switch up works. Although Keeve does go down relatively quickly.
Really good round here from Big, especially considering that they just lost a round, and before that it went down to a one-on-one situation. So they needed this, looking at it from an economy perspective. They didn't really have that much money to work with. They still managed to make it work, and a beautiful setup with Legia over by the rock. And next up close by the statue. This time around, EnVyUs, they're gonna go fast and aggressive, but they get stopped by that nade. For now, they're just gonna sit here and wait. Smokes in towards the site. Flashes as well. Now we do see the aggression come in. Taps him over by the new copy. A bit deeper nowadays. Managed to make it work. He does manage to get 2 kills. Legia finds one on towards RPK. It's now going to be Happy left alone. 1 on 3. And even though I've praised him a few times already, I simply don't see this one happening. I do believe Big are going to catch it up on map point. That being said, he does manage to get a beautiful headshot on Kiev. Got B still on that. Max 7 gonna fall back, see if he can switch over to, what was it, the M4 yet? Legia in a good position with that AWP, catches Happy, secures the 15th round on the board for Big. Sitting on map point. EnVyUs, if they want to tie this one up, they need 6 rounds in a row. Big in a beautiful position, especially considering that EnVyUs, they don't really have any money to work with.
Yeah, this is where crunch time comes in for Envy on this map, at least. Obviously, this is only map 1. This is the pick of Big. But, obviously, Big getting that momentum early on. They're going to be feeling pretty confident going on to train. Now, we are going to have the unpause called in. They're going to have to invest, of course. This is potentially the last round if they're unable to bring something in. They have had a moment to sort of talk this over, decide where their aggression is actually going to head towards. Obviously, got B pretty happy to play that Mag 7 for the remainder of the game by the looks of things. Going to keep it in play once more. AWP back onto Kiev. This time, looking to go for that aggressive peek over towards long. But by the looks of things, we're just going to see a straight up push. Legia going to have a lot of work to do, but he will get the first and the second as well. Legia going big, looking for a little bit more. Screen with the D. And Sixer with the Tech 9 will be able to get 1 kill each. Actually bringing things back a little bit closer. Maybe there's a possibility, but Tabson's here to shut it down. Nice shot from Happy. Will get 1. But once again, he's the last alive. He's got 2 to find, and that nade is going to be brutal. And they're going to be savage wrecked. Oh, I don't know. Have we lost Geet? Very quiet. I don't know what has happened there. He's not saying anything. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading off to a break. That is map number 1. Done and dusted. And we will be back with you in just a moment as we head into train. Don't go anywhere.